Hi, I'm David Norris and I'm serving up the perfect podcast, Pompey Platter with Russ, Daz and Haz. Play up, Pompey.
He used to be a waiter, did David Norris. Well, he's served up the perfect cocktail here.
Gera back to goal, Lang. Needs a bit of help. Goodness from Lang. What can he do? Still there, Lang. Lang! You wouldn't believe it! Cross comes into the near post. Headers into the net! Shaughnessy! Surely Pompey are heading for the championship! Portsmouth are promoted as League One champions.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the Pompey Patter podcast. The good, the bad, and the Pompey, which is definitely a way of describing this week. After feeling extremely high on Saturday, after getting our first win since April and our first win in 12 years in the championship, to another low Tuesday night on another horrible midweek performance. But we'll start with the positive. We don't have Daz with us tonight, unfortunately. He's a part-time fan. He's a part-time podcaster. He's always off doing something. It's not good enough, Daz. You're gonna get your P45 at this rate.
Gonna get someone else in. He's on holiday. He's on holiday.
We didn't put any request in though, I must admit. So,
that is true.
So Harry, let's start with the positive of the QPR game. What was your thoughts on it?
Well, we won a game. It's a Christmas miracle. It was a scrappy game, really. I thought it was not particularly great on the eye from either team, and you could see where both teams were in the table from the standard of the game. It wasn't the greatest game, but it was another poor start, which we seem to be getting in the habit of. And as Massino said, it's a mentality thing rather than a physical thing, which I think I'd probably agree with. A bit like it was in the first few games where we were conceding in added time a lot. We've now switched to conceding within the first 5 or 10 minutes, and we've gone to the complete opposite end of the game. I think we deserved to win. I thought we were better than QPR, but I mean, it was no, Barcelona kind of dominant display, but we had enough to finish and enough to win, to be honest. What about you? Did you think we did enough to actually deserve the 3 points?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I thought we came out flying. The goal was just another horrendous goal to concede. Not sure what Schmidt was thinking of. He didn't need to come off his line. He could have just waited on the edge of the box, and I think the ball would have found him, and he could have just got hold of the ball. But he more than made up for it in that game. I thought it was nice to see it didn't affect him. He ended up making some really good saves. But I thought overall, we were the better team. I thought QPR were horrendous, worse than us. I don't think they can have any complaints. Goal literally gifted to them, like I said. I
thought it was weird because if you looked at when Cifuentes came in towards the end of last season, they were playing some good football, and it looked like they were going to be kind of going on the up. He pulled them away from the relegation battle last year, and a lot of people had them kind of touted for not necessarily playoffs, but kind of going to the opposite end of the table, and they've really started poorly, and they were awful.
Yeah, I think they are the worst team we've gone up against.
At least there's someone worse than us.
Yeah, everyone so far has either been on level or better. Probably other than I thought Oxford were terrible as well. and I think that's what disappointed me over that result more than anything, was just how bad they were. But it was what I think was needed. It was more gritty. I think it might have been Daz that said, but that we come across a bit naive sometimes. I didn't feel like we were naive at all. We just defended solid. I thought McIntyre had a fantastic game. It just was solid, and that's all it needed. It didn't need to be pretty. It didn't need to be great football. It just needed to be, let's go and get that win and defend it.
Well, Messina said after the game, didn't he? He said that they made it scrappy on purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I believe that, to be honest. Not wholly. Just because I think it would have been probably scrappy anyway, just because of how, the way we would have been quite low still waiting for that first win. It's not like we could have gone out and dominated like we would have last season. I think it would have still been a struggle. We probably made it more hostile and scrappier than it could have been. But I think it probably benefited us to do that, especially being away from home, just to be able to get that first win over the line.
Well, I think that's how we're going to have to play it, because I've said it before. You watch Derby, it's vile to watch, but it works. They've had 3 wins, 2 or 3 wins. They've had some draws. They're mid-table. You watch them, it's awful football, but they get results. And I think we need to sacrifice trying to play well, trying to play out from the back, and just make it hard. Like, I remember Wickham a few years ago when they were in the Championship, and
Ainsworth, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they struggled, and they somehow nearly stayed up right at the death. And they just made it even, like, they're an ugly team anyway, but they got even uglier. I mean, these teams don't like coming down and being kicked. And sometimes that's just the way you have to do it against these better teams. And they are better.
Oh, of course. And it would be part of that naivety would be able to think that we would be able to compete with some of these teams playing how we did last season. And obviously we went from being one of, or if not, well, I suppose we were the best team in the league last year because we won it. But the style we played, you'd be naive to think you could come into this league and then play exactly the same again. And I think we have done well to adjust the way we've played. Obviously, we've given up a fair bit of possession, especially against the bigger teams at the start. But it was just a gritty performance, and it enabled us to be able to just get that over the line. Because if that was another game where you'd be going into double figures without that first win, and then you're gaining attention from other people that aren't even Pompey fans but are just fans, like we said before, when Cheltenham went 7 or 8 games without scoring a goal, it was all over the socials, like radio stations started to get hold of it, and we don't want that. We don't want to start to become like a joke and a meme.
Oh, sorry.
Excuse you. So it's really thrown me off. We don't want to become that kind of attention. We want to kind of be quiet and stay out the way. So being able to get that first win was really important.
The thing with their goal, I'll move on to their goal. Did you think it was a foul on Paul?
No, and I know my dad's listening, and I know he thinks it's a foul. I felt like Paul was looking for it.
Yeah, I think he realised where Schmid was going and thought, I need to help him out.
Yeah, he kind of just put himself in front of him, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was looking for it, and it was too obvious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually, I thought Frey, he actually impressed me. I thought he did a lot of... They kind of lumped it forward to him and having a big man up front, but I thought he actually played quite well.
Yeah, he caused some problems. I tell you, there was like nothing about him at all, was there? Like there was never any point where you thought, But Dembele, I thought looked a bit dangerous now and again, but not. But like I wasn't overly worried by him. I mean,
no, it was more of what can we do to attack them rather than think, oh shit, here we are, we're going to get done. It felt more like, right, this is what they are. We've got to just work our way to make sure we can beat them, which we did.
Well, what's your thoughts on our goal?
Well, the first, I actually thought if Lang didn't score and didn't get the penalty and the almost assist for the first one, I actually thought this was Williams' best game in a Pompey shirt. His ball down the channel was a really good ball, nice distance on it, and Lang did very well to completely bamboozle Morgan Fox, because Fox clearly thought he was coming across him to cut him off, but Lang had already backed off and had other ideas, and he waited the right amount of time to kind of, once he got to the byline, he managed to be able to get it, cross it at the correct moment, and obviously it took a little bounce off, but that's what you need with Potts. That's what you need from your central midfielder, is that late run into the box. He was completely unmarked. Everyone else was kind of in the 6-yard box and had progressed forward, waiting for that kind of fizzed ball across the goal line. And it ended up back at Potts, and that's what you want from your central midfielder, and it was a really good finish.
Yeah, and it was nice to actually see players in the box, which is something that sometimes you sort of wonder why there's only one, maybe two players. It was nice to see Potts, make his way into the box, which he's admitted himself is something that he needs to work on.
That's it. And if you've got someone like Marlon next to him who naturally sits deeper out of the double pivot, you need that kind of box to box out of those two, out of that double pivot, to push further forward, to give that extra man, especially when everyone else is so high and you're right on the byline. There's nowhere else for anyone to be. You need that midfielder to be on the edge or pushing into the box, just in case, like it happens, the ball pings out to the edge of the box, so there's someone there. Because otherwise, what we've found like in the last few games is that there's not been anyone there, and that's where you need to be able to capitalise. And otherwise, you're just gifting time and space to the opposition if you don't have anyone there waiting to pounce. So it's good instincts from Potts to think there's a chance it could end up here. I'm going to do it.
And second goal, clear penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, again, Morgan Fox really struggled with Callum Lang. He had a pretty poor game. For someone with such championship experience, Fox really struggled, which surprised me a bit, because I thought he was quite a competent left back / left centre half. But again, Fox just waited. He just stood there and was ball watching, and Lang kind of came on his blind side and waited perfectly and knew what Fox was going to do, and he just kicked straight through him, and definite penalty. And that calmness that Lang had in the penalty is exactly what we needed for when Sorensen took the game before. But Lang makes such a difference. Having him back fit, he's gonna. If we do stay up, whether we stay up or not, actually, he's going to be such a key part to our season, and he needs to stay fit for us to have any chance of staying up.
Yeah, I feel he is the man at the moment, and he is the one we're looking for. And it's just unfortunate, it feels like he's the only one that we can look for. I'm struggling to think. I've seen a lot of rave for Potts. I'm not totally fully with him yet. Not that I think he's a bad player. I just
he's shown glimpses, isn't he? And I think
yes, he's got the ability and the potential.
He's absolutely got the talent, and I think maybe it's to do with just the fact that the team is low on confidence as well. He's only young as well. I know he had a full season of men's football last year, but again, it's a step up from what he did. And if he had a bit more confidence kind of flowing through the team, I think you'd probably see a better Potts. But I'd just like to pick out to some bloke when we Pete O'Rourke put that we were buying Callum Lang. some bloke called Talal's Pen on Twitter. He put, bad move for Callum. Should have picked Rotherham. Yeah, okay. He'll put, they'll be in League One throughout next year, which is his level. He can't do it in the Championship, so it's a waste of his career and a waste of a signing for Pompey. All right, mate.
Yeah, no, he is our most threatening player.
He is
at the moment.
He's got the cojones, hasn't he?
Yeah, and you can tell we look better when he's around. Even Tuesday night, I felt like he was probably the only one that can come off that pitch with their head held high, attacking wise. Anyway.
Do you think he's better as the right wing, or do you reckon he's better as the 10? Because he's done both now. Obviously, he started off when we did the first few games, Leeds and stuff. He was as the 10. And
I don't mind him in either, but as a formation, which is something I want to get onto a bit later, I want him on the right because I'm sick of the 10.
You want him on the wing, yeah?
Yeah, because I don't want a 10 anymore. I don't think it works. We don't have a 10, so why are we forcing players that aren't 10s to play in a 10? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
struggled.
We agreed on the chat, didn't we, on our group chat, but all three of us, in fact, that we probably need to go to a 3 in midfield just to bulk it out and help the two that are there. It doesn't really matter who the two are. I think it's just having a 2-man midfield.
And this is my, not my issue with Potts. I don't have an issue with Potts. I think he's a good player, but I feel like his off the ball work needs a lot of work. I feel like that's where everything just comes through Potts and Pack. Like they're not even there. There's just no midfield. I've got a friend who, he's a Pompey fan, but he's not a religious Pompey fan. He'll watch us now and again, sort of thing. And the few times he's watched us, he's texted me every time and said, "Where's our invisible midfield?"
Yeah, and I think that's just why you need that extra body in there, because a lot of the time there's especially against the better teams, you have quite a good midfield. Obviously, the likes of Burnley, you had the likes of Josh Brownhill, who's an established Championship and has played in the Premier League midfielder. Excuse me, and it's just having that extra boost, extra physicality, bulking it out, and it will help us be able to just kind of have another solid line, because there's no real solid line in front of the back four. It will just, having that extra body just gives that extra defence in front of the defence, because there's no protection for that back four at the minute, or it doesn't seem like it. So having an extra body there, just a little bit deeper, it doesn't have to be, you don't have 3 defensive midfielders sat there, but just having that extra deeper person, and there's something you need to sacrifice, having that 10, just to be able to sort out the goals that we're conceding. But I think a lot of the goals that we're conceding are individual errors rather than down to the tactics, to be honest, especially obviously kind of going on to Cardiff, but we'll come back to that. But Paul's goal was down to a complete individual error rather than the tactics didn't cost us that. The same with Matt Ritchie at Burnley. That's not down to the tactics. That's down to a stupid individual error that has cost us. That's not down to the coaching.
Yeah, it's just wrong choices in the wrong moments, isn't it? And you can get away with that in League One, can't in the Championship. You'll get punished, and it's how many goals can we look back and say, how we let that in? How have we done that? We could probably sit and do a whole podcast just on all that, to be quite honest with you. Anything else you want to say about the QPR game before we move on?
I don't think so. The only thought you kind of touched on it was probably Schmid, how he kind of obviously making a mistake so early on, and it was quite a big mistake and it was costly coming back, and he made some good saves. One was that one-on-one where Elias Chair went through.
Yeah, he wanted him to drop on the floor and chip it over him.
He did. He made himself big, and he tried to be big and clever, Chair, didn't he? But the fact that Schmid stood tall and strong and got a big hand to it, he did really well. And then from the corner as well, it came off Paul. I think it was Paul's thigh, and he got down to his left pretty quick.
Oh, that was a fantastic save.
So he recovered well, and he didn't go under, which was really important. So other than that, it was just a decent game in the end. It was just nice to get that first win.
This happened with that chance you talk about where Schmidt was 1-on-1 with Chair. I've noticed a lot lately. I don't know if you have. Obviously, Williams goes up the pitch. Paul comes over right back, or whatever kind of role we're playing at the moment. And I don't know about you, but Paul looks really uncomfortable at the moment playing that like wide right defensive play. He just seems to stretch his leg out for the ball and the ball bounces beyond him. That's happened quite a few times lately. It happened against Oxford. It happened against QPR. Happened against Cardiff.
He's just kind of misjudging the ball at the minute. Like he completely misjudged it, and I don't know really why he went for the kick when it was kind of head height. And he probably realised when his leg was halfway up, he probably thought, "Oh fuck, I'm not going to get that." But because it's the tactics. It seems to be that we're going to. It's a back four when we defend, but then Williams goes
three.
Ogilvy tucks in, and it kind of becomes like a back three. Because it was Sorensen kind of pushed up into the kind of make two strikers at the home game, and then this one it was Lang kind of came in and almost like an inside forward. And I think that's actually suited Williams really well. But again, as you say, I don't know whether I'm not sure why Paul hasn't adjusted so well, but I'd have no issue with him having a mistake because he's such a good player.
No, cool. It's just more of since we've changed to this, so as you said, four in defence but a three in attack. It's happened quite a few times now.
Maybe it's just getting used to it.
Mm. But do you find it a bit worrying that we're now? I know injuries haven't helped, but do you find it a bit worrying that we're how many games are we in now?
11. Played 11.
Is it 11 games now?
11 league games, yeah.
That we still don't really know our best, maybe not the best team because I said with injuries, but definitely our best style of play.
I think it's probably got to the point where maybe not desperation, but Messino's trying different things to try and find something that works because it's needed. You can't keep, if you go 1 win in 11, that means we're going to win 4 games over the season effectively, and you can't stay up with that because we can't sustain what we're doing now and have any expectation of staying up. So there are adjustments that Messino and the coaching staff are making, and I think it needs to be done because otherwise we're just going to bomb the whole season. And we've got to if we go down and we've put up a fight, you can kind of accept that. But if we go down kind of how we've been doing now, where we've just been letting teams pile us a lot of the time, then we're not going to accept that. And he's got to change something.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Right, moving on to Tuesday night, unfortunately.
Do we have to?
Here we do. Where do you start?
Where do we start? I really, really miss Alex Robertson, and watching him do so well, I almost wanted to cry.
Yeah, I said last week I've watched, be doing some stuff with Cardiff and Alex Robertson, and I said last week we got more chance of being QPR than we have Cardiff. They're better than they look. They're better than what their position said. That Colwell is unbelievable.
He's a talent.
Annoying as hair fucking is. He's a talent. I think Tanner, their right wing's a good player. I like PN. Is it PN? I can't even remember 2 letters. They're right back.
Perry and G.
Yeah, that's it. NG. And obviously Robertson just dictates game. You should watch his performance against Plymouth. It was absolutely outstanding. It was up there with the Northampton performance done with us. He was too good for us, and he's actually too good for Cardiff, and they know that already. I see it on their timeline on Twitter. Their fans the few of them said it's the best player they've had in years.
I mean, if he carries on, it was kind of how we thought. If he carries on this, he'll only do a season at Cardiff, especially if they do end up going down, which I don't think they will. Because if they perform,
They won't go down. They got too many good players.
Now they've changed the manager as well. If they play like that, they'll happily finish mid-table, I think.
So I watched them against Millwall and Bristol City, and they were the better team out of all three of them games, and they weren't even like close. So I was not shocked. And I think it's probably, I'm assuming the same for everyone. It's not the scoreline that upsets me. Losing 2-0 away from home to Cardiff is not the end of the world. But it's the manner of how we lost, especially first half. I did think we did all right in the second half, actually.
But it was in this way. It was similar to the Stoke game, and the fact that Cardiff just thought we don't need to try.
I felt they got a bit edgy, especially the last 20 minutes. If we had scored, Stoke could have afforded to, being 6-1 up. I mean,
but we just didn't look like scoring that much, did we?
No,
we had that one chance where Yengi kind of crossed it in, and I don't know if it was. I couldn't tell if it was Lang or the defender got a touch, and the keeper got down.
It was. I watched it back. It was Lang. But he didn't know. It just kind of hit him.
It just hit him. Yeah.
I messaged in and said, didn't I? If he'd known, I think he just would have tapped it in.
Yeah, I think we just, apart from that, we didn't really challenge them. But it was all in the first 15 minutes that the whole game went to shit, didn't it? I mean, obviously you have that mistake from Paul, which is unfortunate. I mean, he should probably have a player of his capabilities and knowledge and experience should have more awareness of what's around him.
To be fair,
but I also think he should. Sorry, I'll finish and then I'll let you go.
That's fine.
I think either the keeper maybe, but he's kind of not watching. But Williams, especially behind him, he can see everyone. So Williams should surely be kind of going leave it or calling just to help his man out.
Yeah. So for me with that, and I'm just going to sound like all I ever do is stick up for Paul. Is you see, I've seen the best players in the world do that. The best centre back in the world do that. It's a defender's instinct to stick their leg out with situations like that. And 9 times out of 10, that will go out for a corner, over the bar, wherever. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those, unfortunately. You probably could say a bit more communication probably would have helped Paul make up his mind a bit better. But on another day, they didn't go in. But I don't think it would have changed anything. And I don't even think, and you can't even say that going 1-0 down early on affected the boys because it didn't against QPR.
No, and I think it's just the manner of it. And I think it was just kind of, you had that early goal within the first 5 minutes. Then Paddy Lane went off injured. And then when they scored their second, obviously Schmid ended up with, it looked like concussion.
It's not, is it? They reckon it's facial. Well, I swear I read earlier that it's apparently Mousinho said it's not concussion, it was a facial injury.
Oh, because when he went off, when the camera kind of panned him when he's walked off with the medical stuff, he looked dazed and he looked like he was fucked.
Yeah, no, I agree. I automatically thought it was, but I swear I have to find it. I might be talking shit, but I swear I've seen it where Mousinho said it was a facial, not concussion.
Okay, but even then, he's probably not going to be fit for Friday, right? Because if it's a nose break or cheekbone or something, I would imagine then. But then kind of you conceded, and then he kind of has a bit of treatment, carries on, then he ends up having to come off. By that, and then by half time, it got to half time, and Jordan Williams went off injured as well, didn't he? So you've had 2 goals, 3 injuries. You've had to make 3 subs, and because you've made 2 subs in the first half, you only can make subs at 1 more time during the second half. It's apart from a red card, we had an own goal, 3 injuries, 2 goals. Apart from a red card, everything that went wrong did go wrong.
Yeah, my internet was playing up. I missed the first. I didn't see any of the goals. I've watched them back, but the one thing I didn't see at all was Paddy Lane's injury. Did it look bad? How did it happen? Explain.
I didn't really see it either. There was a bit of a challenge. He kind of went in with a duel, but it didn't look a dodgy foul or anything like that. But he ended up, I don't know if he picked it up from that or what, but I couldn't really tell from myself, to be honest, either. But it seems I saw something about it was some Achilles injury, so hopefully it's not too serious.
Well, that could be serious. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's look at one positive from the game. Other than he looked a bit shaky on the ball, in my opinion, a couple of times. I thought Archer came in and had a really good, solid performance, and I have no qualms of him being in goal tomorrow night.
Yeah, exactly. You got to think, right. He was brought in. I don't know whether he knew he'd have ended up being third choice or whether he thought he was coming in as second. But he'd have had to deal with that blow of not only he's come in as potentially second, then we've gone and bought Schmidt, so he knows he's going to end up being third. So he basically knows he's not going to play for us, almost, because we haven't got any Papa shit trophy to play in this year. So then he's got to go, okay, actually, Norris is injured, I'm on the bench. He hasn't played a league game since 2021. So he hasn't played a league game in the Championship for 3.5 years as well. So he's come in, okay, he wasn't glitz and glamour and like Schmidt with his distribution, and he wasn't amazing with his feet, but I don't really care. You're my third choice keeper. He kept a clean sheet. He made some important saves. He parried them away. He didn't put them into any dangerous areas. He came on, did the job he was meant to. And the fact he ended up being our man of the match, one, shows how well he did, but it also shows how shit everyone else was.
Yeah, I think, as I said, other than him and Lang, because I thought Lang had a couple of chances himself. He had that one from distance, didn't he? That their keeper made a great save. He caused a few problems. But yeah, I thought Archer was out. I thought he had an excellent game. I really did. He really impressed me.
It was just frustrating, right? Just the whole result, because we were just second best to everything. And I get maybe now they've changed manager. Cardiff's kind of position doesn't necessarily show compared to their performances, because they were a lot better than, say, Oxford as well. When we played Oxford, I thought they were better than Oxford. But it was just the way we played. It was like Stoke. And I actually think it was, I know we disagreed on this, but I actually think it was just as bad, if not worse, than Stoke.
I think the first
it was just without
half
the scoreline
was as bad as Stoke. Whereas I felt Stoke the whole game was bad. Like literally from 1 to 90.
Yeah, but it started off from 1 as bad.
Yeah. But I felt like the team that finished, like I thought Sadie done all right when he come on. I think he needs to start. If we have to have a 10, he has to be him. Because as much as I don't think he's got the quality, but he will not let us down. He will not just let a game go past him. I really want to give Sorensen a chance, but he is not up to it playing in a 10. I know he started as a stroke and had to drop back.
I think that killed his game, to be honest, having to drop to that 10, because he was doing okay as the number 9.
Yeah.
And when I saw it was Yengi that come on, I thought, he's going to drop Sorensen into the 10.
Yeah.
And he looks lost.
Yeah.
And I think it's because third. What was it? Was it Esbjerg, the Danish side he played for?
Yes.
He played as the striker or the left wing, which he did the left wing against Burnley, didn't he?
Yeah.
He played for striker, so to drop into the 10 is not a familiar position for him. So I mean, it surprised me. I'd have probably gone for Sadie to come on, to be honest, just to keep one natural striker and as close to a natural 10 as possible. But it kind of killed his game, unfortunately. And I think he needs a proper go without kind of any interruptions as the 10. Because it looks so promising, right? When he started, he got thrown in at Leeds away as your first game. And he scored. And we're thinking, oh, fuck, yeah, look at this guy. And then, unfortunately, he's kind of dipped a bit. But he needs a consistent run, I think. But when you've got Yengi's now come back from injury, and when Omani's played, he's got a couple of goals already. Omani's fitting that profile as that single striker at the minute a lot better than.
I was shocked that he's been dropped, to be quite honest with you, because I feel
managing
like
minutes because he's only a kid still. He's obviously 19.
possibly, but then it's like he didn't show any signs that he needed minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, he came off
wait.
Oxford, didn't he, with that groin injury?
Yeah,
Well,
but
he felt his groin.
I really rate the kid. I think he's so intelligent, which is something that we lack, in my opinion. Like, I feel like he will make the right choices, where so many times we don't make the right choices. Like, I can give you 2 examples, and I think we definitely messaged one of them in the chat. We actually broke away in the first half, and all Pack had to do was put, I think it was Lang, not Lang because he was off at the time, Lang in. Jesus Christ, Lang.
We were 3v1, weren't we?
Yeah, and he just took so long on the ball and lost the ball. He puts Lang in. I'm confident Lang buries that. 2-1 half time. Like to see how that got on in the second half.
That's
and
it.
Then
and that kind of comes under the individual mistakes, right? Little errors that we're making where we're just not doing what we need to do, and that's kind of costing us.
And the other thing, there was another situation in the second half where someone, it might have been Potts, did a fantastic ball to Yengi. It might have been Pack, one of them. And all he had to do was kind of, like he did against Peterborough, sort of kick it on in front of him to get beyond the defender. And he didn't. Or if he didn't want to do that, I believe Murphy was right next to him, and all he had to do was put him in. And he didn't do either, and then ended up just running into the defender and losing the ball. And those 2 moments cost you the, even more. Did we deserve anything? No. But them 2 moments could have easily changed the game.
You can create your own luck, right? Whether we were dominated in that game or not.
Did Oxford deserve a draw against us?
No, but they grafted, they worked hard and created an opportunity and took it. But we just didn't do that against Cardiff.
I'm a big believer that last 20 minutes they looked nervous, Cardiff, and if we'd scored within like the 70th to 80th minute, I think they could have shit themselves.
Yeah, I just think it's. I kind of said it earlier. I think a lot of it is down. I thought Cardiff was on the players. The way we played and the result, that was on the players. I don't think
100%.
I just think they shat the bed and they just didn't turn up. And I don't think it's got anything to do with the coaching staff or Messina or anything. I'm not having that for that result. Okay, some of the things he's done, some of the subs he's made haven't been the greatest, like kind of bringing Richie and Blair on at Burnley and stuff. But it's not, how we're conceding goals and losing. A lot of it is down to individual errors rather than the tactics.
Should he have played Pack? I know it's easy to say after a game, but knowing you got 3 games in less than a week, where he's looked leggy a lot this season, I felt like Cardiff was the game to shore up the midfield and gone free. And also the bit I don't understand is why he didn't bring Kamara on.
That's what I don't quite understand with Kamara is we've paid this money. Obviously, it's reported at 1.7 million or something, which we know it wasn't because it wasn't. Andy Moon, when he was on, said it wasn't that. But we've paid a good amount of money for him, and he's looked okay when he's come on in his cameos, I think. But we haven't seemed to use him. I don't know why. Why would you pay this money for this guy when we clearly need a bit more muscle and legs in midfield, and he can provide you that? Yet we're not using him.
Yeah, I find some of the last season. I found his subs were spot on. By the way, I want to make it very clear before I start this: I'm not having a go at Messinio. The man knows more football than I do. But just looking at it from an outside point of view of I just don't understand sometimes his selections. I don't understand his substitutions. I don't understand kind of any of it, really, to be honest. I found it baffling why are we not bringing on Kamara for that last 20 minutes? Why are we
Even
giving
if
Pack
you
the
know,
whole 90?
like
Why?
even if you know the game's gone, right, just bringing him on, getting him another 20 minutes under his belt in case he needed or he is needed to start on Friday. When was the last time he played for us?
I think it only come on against West Brom, wasn't it? Or Sunderland, whichever one was last.
Was it West Brom? Oh, I'll have a quick look.
Yeah, I'm sure. Unless he came on an away game and I can't remember.
I think it's only the home games he's come on, to be honest. Oh, he came on against Stoke.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's right.
So he's played an hour and a half of football so far. But I just think, where's the... Just bring him on, just play him. You need more in midfield, and he can provide you that. Whether it's with Pack and Potts, or you maybe... I would personally leave Pack out tomorrow night, just not because... I think he just needs a rest. Just as I said in the group chat earlier, you kind of give him a rest. I'd go for a midfield of Kamara, Potts and Moxon. But obviously Moxon's not been in the fold, so does he bring Dizel in maybe? But I would give him a rest. Just don't try not... If you don't have to use him tomorrow, then he's got a whole week of prep ready for Hull away. If you can avoid to use him, I just think he's tired. The longer you leave him in, the more people are trying to make him a scapegoat. I think everyone's before. It's not like Pack has been the sole reason that we keep losing, because he's not. He's part of everyone being the issue, right? Because it's not
scapegoating that's going on with Pack at the moment.
No, but we as fans we always pick one person. Like Sorensen got it a bit, and now Pack's getting it. And Richie got it for a bit. I think it's just because we all want to win, right? And we're all trying to find some reason of where it's going wrong, because we don't really know. But I think he just, probably for the sake of him, really, just give him a game out. And you can't forget what he did for us last season, because he was so pivotal to us last year.
He got Player of the Year, didn't he?
Well, yeah, exactly. And that proved it all. He was so key to us last year. Obviously, he had a bit of time out with an injury, but he came back and he got back into the team, and he led by example. And he's just struggling a bit this year, but the whole team is. But whether it's because he's from Pompey and he's a Pompey lad, does he get scrutinised a bit more than other players? I don't know. But it's a whole collective. But I think just you take him out and you probably try and change a couple of... You don't just make him the one change. You make a couple of changes tomorrow and you try something new.
Yeah, well, we've discussed it already. I want to go to a 3 forever, like not forever, but like for the foreseeable future. I think that, for me, I wouldn't play Pack tomorrow. I would like to see a 3 of Potts, Moxon and Kamara. I don't think you'll get that. I think if you had a 3 without Pack, it would probably be Potts, Kamara and Dizel. But going forward, I would like to see Pack. I think it will help having 2 players in front of him doing kind of all the running for him, and just allow him to be that Pirlo type, sit between the defence and midfield, pinging balls around, because that's something that he hasn't lost and he hasn't struggled with.
No, because you think back of that goal for Sorensen, that reverse pass into Sorensen at Leeds was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you can see some of his passing is, but I think you're right. The passing is there. You just need, maybe he's struggling with the legs, but that's why you need that extra body, because then you can be able to get the best out of him rather than seeing him suffer. because he's going to know he's not doing as well as he was last season as well. You've got to remember that. He's not going to go home after that game and think, cool, I did well today. He's going to know he needs to do better, but he needs help.
Yeah, and you know, if he's your captain, you need to build a team around him, and you need to get the best out of Pack. For me, you play two beside him, and then you free Pack to kind of do what he wants really, and not have to worry about sort of the harder part of the game. Pack's not really known for tackling and stuff like that. When do you ever see him flying about for tackles? You know, you need your more mobile players to be doing that sort of role. But the weird sort of hate Pack's getting at the moment is driving me out the wall. He needs to be dropped. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's playing well. There's some of the things I'm seeing, like I said it to you earlier, and I put it on Twitter. The guy who's literally said that if he gets announced in the team that we should boo him, it's just pathetic.
That is one of the most ridiculous things I think I've ever read.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, I read that and I thought, it has to be bait. I can't take that as a serious.
But even I said to you, even if it is bait, why? Well, I mean, that's not funny.
To be controversial and to wind people up, just like the Coalition did and Pompey Dave and things like that. Like they put stuff out to try and rile people up, don't they?
Yeah,
but that cannot be real. And if it is, he's dick of the week. Like he's
dick of the season.
Clueless. To want to boo your own player like that, right? One, he's from Portsmouth. Two, he isn't doing it on purpose. It's not like he's going, oh, today I'm going to go out and put a shit performance in. Like, why would you do that?
I've never agreed to booing any Pompey player at any point. Like, maybe other than, like, Ten Bennett. Oh, I can't say his friggin' name. You know, Ben Ayin.
Yeah.
You know, because that was because he was being a dick towards the club. We've all heard Marquis get booed. We've all heard Curtis get booed. All right, you don't like the player. Don't boo him whilst they're wearing our shirt. Doing. I don't agree with it because none of them are going out there, other than Ben Ayin, to purposely be shit.
No, that's it. It just baffles me how you can even say, yeah, idiot.
Anything you want to say any more about Cardiff before we move on to the next bit?
No, hurry up and move on.
Well, the next bit I want to talk about is just two things, two and one. I'll start off. I was going to bring it up, but Neil Allen put a story up about it earlier. I haven't read it. Haven't had a chance to read it, which is have we signed too many players for tomorrow rather than today? I wanted to bring it up because, and I said it the other day in the group of, you sort of look at all the teams, the experience of the Championship is just vast. You know, Cardiff brought a Willock off the bench. Do you know what I mean? We got Pack, Richie,
Gazelle,
but then you're kind of struggling out there. Lang's had a few games in the Championship.
McIntyre.
Yeah, and that's, again, a few games doing. You're not bringing on what I call seasoned experience. And I don't mean that by old. You know, Willock's not old.
It's having those appearances under the belt and having that experience in that league, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I was talking to Mark, Alex Robinson's dad, about Cardiff and Pompey, and his answer to all was Cardiff have got the experience to get themselves away from relegation. Didn't say anything about us having the experience.
Well, yeah, but that's because
we don't.
We don't. There's no shying away from it. maybe we've tried something and it hasn't worked. I don't know. It would have been nice to just to get a couple of extras that just had that maybe season or 2 seasons under their belt in
Well,
the
I'd say
championship.
what I'd call your championship players. A couple of them, but maybe are we too low down in the pecking order to sign these championship players? Doing
Well, if we're only offering a certain wage, then, i.e., Alex Robertson, obviously, we only got to a certain wage before Cardiff went and trumped us.
Well, again, but I don't know about that because again, keep bringing it up, talking to Mark about that, and his words are always that he just chose Cardiff over you.
Well, I suppose we'll never know. We know we matched the transfer fee, don't we? But we don't know necessarily the wages. But I'd imagine they're in a position to, whether we match them or not, they're in a position to offer more because they're an established championship side. And a lot of the teams, they would rather be, players would probably rather be third or fourth choice in a position, maybe, at an established championship club. And it would be the same in the Premier League. Rather third or fourth choice and maybe not play as much football, but be guaranteed to stay there, rather than join a freshly promoted one where they know they're going to be in the relegation battle and probably end up potentially going back down.
So, would you agree with Neil and myself that we probably have bought too much for tomorrow than we have for today?
Yeah, but only not by a lot. It's just one or two.
Where
you can have a mix. You can have a mix, right? So you can people like Blair, Omani, obviously he's on loan, but people like Terry Devlin and people like that, you can have them around, but you also do need to have just a couple more experienced. I would have looked to probably try to get some kind of experienced striker in the league. And then probably a centre half that has some kind of experience. Not necessarily they even have to play a lot. It's just having that experience around. But that's, I suppose, what Matt Ritchie's doing, and it's not necessarily working for him at the minute, is it?
No. But just saying, like, you don't have to be an older player. It could be a 27-year-old that's always played in the Championship. And then,
but that's what Dazelle is, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not always played in the Championship, is he?
Yeah, no, not. I don't think so. But he's got over. I think he's got over 100 appearances in the Championship.
True.
So he's played plenty of seasons in the Championship. So it's not like. But he seems to be one of the ones that has struggled. But he's only 25 as well. So he's one of those players that we're talking about, and he's one of the ones that have struggled to adapt the most. Hence why he's been dropped out of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's the forward line where, well, it is. I always say to you, I don't see where the goals are coming from. And I think Ritchie was supposed to be that one. He was supposed to be the Merson. He was supposed to be the body. And so far hasn't worked. Although I thought he actually did all right when he come on.
I think he probably needs to start again.
Would you start him tomorrow?
Yeah, but then he'd have to play in the 10, wouldn't he? And we've just discussed getting rid of that. So just because he hasn't got the legs to play on the right, and you don't want to interrupt Lang doing fine.
But if they said if we don't know knowing Messinho, I'm sure he'll go with a 10, especially at home.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a 10, would you pick Ritchie or would you go Sadie?
See, it depends if you want to play safe or not, doesn't it? Because the safe option would be Sadie, because you know what you're going to get from it. Whereas if you play Ritchie, it's a little bit more of a gamble because he's not an out-and-out 10, or neither Sadie, but Sadie's played there a lot. And Ritchie, he's not as up to skate. He's not as match fit as Sadie because he hasn't got as many minutes. Again, it's it's taking a risk, but it's probably a risk you should probably take right now, considering it's not going so well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. But we will get on to tomorrow night's game, and there's one other thing I wanted to bring up. We've spoke about two players at length, so I just want to talk about how you feel the League One lads are settling in the Championship. We've spoke a lot about Lang, and we spoke a lot about Pack. So let's talk about your Pauls, your McIntyres, your Ogilvies, your Lang. It's hard to judge Yengi at the moment, so maybe we'll leave him out. Do you want to start with a player who maybe who you're the most concerned about? I could say mine.
Is it a goalkeeper?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just because I think Smith is now number one.
Yeah, I think he probably is.
Mine is Ogilvy.
Ogilvy is probably the standout. And it's weird because he was so consistent. Even under the Cowleys, he was a good solid 6 or 7 out of 10 every game. He wouldn't necessarily do anything special, but he was also a solid player. He reminds me of Ben Davies for Spurs quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a very similar style, and player can play left back as a defensive fullback or on the left of a back three. Doesn't necessarily do anything pretty, but doesn't do a lot stupid, but struggles with the pace. So if you put someone quick up against them, they both seem to really struggle because they just can't keep up. And it surprised me, but maybe the step up is just too big for him. And we're desperate for Farrell to come back because we looked at that one game, the one game that Farrell was available for.
Was the best we done defensively.
Yeah, and he looked all right, and he was just more up to speed. Okay, he's still not the quickest himself, but he was quicker than Ogilvy.
Not just that, I think he's just more intelligent than Ogilvy.
I think that footballing brain's just that little bit quicker as well, isn't it? It's not just physically quicker, mentally quicker as well.
But you know, the first 20 minutes against I forgot who it was now, Saki, wasn't it? You know, he tore him apart. I was a bit worried about Farrell. I was like, oh my god, like, what a game!
It took him
one of the fastest wingers probably in the league.
And then he got hold of him, and then he dealt with him, didn't he?
He soon worked him out.
That's it. I think it's probably a mixture of it's his first game. It's at home. It's his first game for the club. It's a bit of a big deal for him. You know, he's played in the Australian League. Now he's playing in the second tier of English football. He's probably a bit of rabbit in headlights for that first 10, 15 minutes and thinking, as you said, he's up against Saki, which is one of the quickest wingers in the league to start off with. And it just took him a bit of time to settle, but he did it very well, and he ended up pocketing him for the rest of the game, and that's why Saki got taken off, because he was getting no change out of him at all. Yeah,
Ogilvy's probably my biggest worry beside Norris, but I do think Norris has lost the number one. So,
do you reckon he can get that back?
No, I think Schmidt is just a better goalkeeper. I'll be impressed with Schmidt.
Do you reckon that Schmidt was going to be brought in, or they were going to bring in a new number one anyway? Or do you reckon they saw Will Norris at the beginning and thought, oh, fuck, we need another keeper?
My understanding Schmidt was on the cards for a long time. It took a long time to sort out.
So they were always planning to bring in a new number one or someone to complete.
Not a new number one, but definitely a new keeper. I don't know. I suppose we won't know. Maybe we'll find out more when we get Andrew Moon back on in January. Because the problem with Andrew was he still wasn't quite fully up to speed himself, being away for the Olympics, wasn't it?
Yeah. How dare he have multiple jobs?
I know. Who do you think he is?
Exactly. He needs to just sit there and focus on Pompey 24/7 out. And
exactly. Yes, that's his life. Any of the Championship, League One boys that you're impressed with?
I mean, the obvious ones. I think Lang Sadie's impressed in spells. Like, he actually made quite a big difference when he came on against Cardiff, as you said. Not necessarily League One, because we didn't see a whole lot of them, but Paul and McIntyre have impressed me. Just that they've been able to come back from such a vast amount of time out, and they've both come back and been able to play so many games.
I think McIntyre has really impressed me. Like, actually he's playing better than Paul. I still think Paul's going to be the better defender. But
they're definitely building up a bit of a partnership.
Yeah, if someone said, you got to drop one, or who would you drop? I think at the moment I'll drop Paul over McIntyre at the moment.
So if Shaughnessy was back tomorrow,
if he gets in the team, does he?
No,
I don't know. Can he drop McIntyre the form he's in? And then, as I said, Paul for me is that good. You're talking. I'd probably still pick Paul to go with Shaughnessy just because we know how good they are together.
Yeah, because McIntyre and Shaughnessy are untested, aren't they? So
Well, they played what, an hour together?
Against,
was it Northampton?
I just think it's more of the rest of them. It's just a collective, just not good enough, and it's not necessarily that they might not. It's just the situation we're in at the minute. Everyone needs to step up a gear. They need to find that.
Do you think they can? So for example, Paddy Lane. Do you think he's got another gear in him?
Yes, he has the talent to, but he just needs to be able to step it up. And I don't know how he does it, but I think he's got the ability to do it because he stepped up once from Fleetwood to us, and then was he close? He was close to 15 goals and assists last year, I think, wasn't it? Or was it nearly 20? And then
I think it was around about the 15 mark, wasn't it?
So he's been able to do that. He's only 22, I think, so he's got the ability to grow still.
But do you think he's a 10?
No, he's a winger.
You think, you would happily. Does he get over Murphy?
No, but he's a right winger.
No, but he plays better on the left.
That was only because he was only played there last year, though, because Kamara was better on the right. Sorry.
But then Paddy Lane was not as good on the right. He went better once he was moved to the left. He kind of as they switched them, they both hit their sort of peak, didn't they?
Yeah, that right wing is where we need to buy in January, unless we see a vast improvement from the likes of Ritchie and Lane and Blair.
But then would you drop Lang though?
Yeah, but you can play him as the 10 if you're playing a 10.
I think I prefer him on the right.
I don't know. You need to, but even then, even if you're having Lang, you still need a better backup because there's no product from any of those three wingers at the minute. So I would probably in January you'd be looking at keeping Ritchie, but you'd probably loan out either Blair or Lane to League One for half a season and then bring in a right winger that's actually got some end product, unless they can find it.
I'm just trying to think of some of the other League One boys. Well, obviously, we haven't seen much of Moxon. But I feel like he's a bit harsh. He's been dropped completely because when he has played, he's done all right.
Apart from that penalty at Middlesbrough, which is about all we've seen of it, really. But
But I remember he played. Was it the West Brom or Sunderland game? No, I know what game. The Luton game. He come on and done really well.
Yeah, I think it has surprised me that he's not even been able to make it on the bench, especially even over Dazelle, just because Dazelle wasn't doing that great. And you think, just take out Dazelle again, like we kind of said for Pack, just take him out the firing line for a game, and just being able to have Moxon on the bench instead. But again, it shows the it shows the quality, but we're not showing too much quality at the minute. But it shows the amount of players we've got. I think we've probably got too many midfielders. If that makes sense.
Yeah, one's got to go in January at least.
Well, you'd probably be looking at two, I suppose, because
they're not going to get rid. That would be Moxon
and Dazelle.
And well, yeah,
because he's only on a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
Because you've paid fees for Kamara as well. Well, I suppose Devlin go out on loan maybe. I think that's a must for his development. Wherever he's playing, whether that's a midfielder or a right wing back like he played for Northern Ireland, he needs to go out and get game time to continue his development, because otherwise he's not going to get enough minutes and enough match fitness to keep going up the ranks.
I'm glad you brought up Devlin. He was another positive about the other night.
Yes, he'll be playing at right back for me on tomorrow.
Just trying to think of the other League One boys. I think Swanson settled in. Would you have him or Williams as your right back if both fit?
Swanson.
You would have Swanson over Williams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I would.
I would too.
So who would be your back four? Swanson, Paul, Shaughnessy, Farrell?
No, I would keep McIntyre. But yeah, apart from that, it'd be Swanson, Paul, McIntyre, Farrell.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either, to be honest. I just think the one thing Shaughnessy does give us
aerial presence.
Aerial presence, yeah.
Yeah. We have lacked that a bit because McIntyre is probably a normal height for a centre half, but Paul's quite a short centre half.
Yeah, I think he's under 6 foot, isn't
he? Yeah, so I mean, you could easily go to a back three, couldn't you? And have Shaughnessy in the middle, Paul on the right, and McIntyre on the left of the three.
Yeah. Yeah, Regan Paul 5'11".
Yeah. So he'd be all right as a right-footed, as the right-handed centre half, and if he went to a back three, but I don't think Messino's really interested in that. Not as an out-and-out formation. I know we've discussed him moving formations, but
yeah. See, Paul. Sorry, not Paul. McIntyre's 6'1". Shaughnessy must be what
6'4"?
Oh, I'd say, yeah. And we're so poor from set plays at the moment that we even look like scoring for one other than Ogilvy's header against Oxford.
No, and that's what we were so good at last year. A lot of that did come from Shaughnessy, didn't it? So
yeah, and also from maybe someone made a good point. I can't remember, it was on Twitter about why did we let I forgot his name, Sparks go.
Well, because you brought in Farrell when you don't need 3 left backs.
Yeah, but that's where I'd argue to get rid of Ogilvy.
Yeah, but it probably made more sense at the time to sign to keep hold of Ogilvy and let Sparks go, because Ogilvy was your starting left back last year, and Sparks, although he did very well business wise, again it made sense. You signed him on a free. A year later, you're selling him for money that you can reinvest. And because Farrell is a better player than Sparks, so you've replaced your second choice left back with a first choice left back, and you've been able to use that money getting from Sparks to buy Farrell. So from a business point of view, it makes sense.
The one thing about the League One boys that aren't here anymore that I'm sick of seeing every time we lose is Rafferty, Raggett and Morel get in this team. We've let them all go for nothing.
Have you seen how bad Rotherham are doing?
Rafferty does not get ahead of Swanson or Williams. Raggett doesn't get ahead of Shaughnessy, McIntyre and Paul. And Morel, I'm sick of saying this, I think he might be back training, but was injured.
Yeah, he's not fit.
We wanted him, we wasn't getting him.
That's why we didn't sign him, because of his availability. He wouldn't have been ready until...
Still see people go, why didn't we sign Morel? Because he was fucking injured. Are you thick?
Yeah, I mean, would you, if in January, would you sign him?
No.
Maybe not even on like a 6-month deal.
Is he going to be the same player? That's things that always worry me.
Yeah, that's true.
Would I have him if he was fully fit, never got injured? I would have had him 100%. I think he gives us that bit of bite in midfield that we're lacking at the moment.
He'd have been sent off at least twice so far.
Well, at least we got someone that looks like they might get sent off. I know that sounds a weird thing to say. You need that kind of hard-hitting midfielder. Everyone else has one, and I feel like we don't. Pack's not going to give you that. Potts at the moment isn't showing that. And that was like when we were talking about Robertson versus Potts. Robertson off the ball is fantastic. He will slide tackle. He'll win the ball back. He'll. God, he got, was it 5 yellow cards within the first couple months being here?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he will put himself about. He don't care. Where I don't see that from Potts. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but you know, I think Potts is a very similar type of player, Robertson, on the ball, but not off it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right, should we go on to? I just realised what the time is.
Bloody hell.
God knows how long this would have gone on if Daz was here. So let's go on to our predictions for tomorrow night then against Sheffield Wednesday.
So Daz has texted in his prediction and he's gone for a 2-0 Pompey win.
Let me guess, Murphy to score.
How on earth did you guess that?
Can I say, though, he's been poor lately.
Yeah,
And
he had an off game on against Cardiff, didn't he?
I didn't think he played well against QPR either. But I don't think it's him that's the issue. I feel like this change in formation doesn't suit him.
Yeah,
he needs to be higher up the pitch.
He's effectively, when we go into attack mode, he's effectively becoming a wing back.
Yeah.
And it's that does take away his attacking.
Yeah. We need to, and that's another reason why I want to go a 3 in the middle, because it actually gives us 3 high attacking players. It would put Lang right wing, Murphy left wing, and then Mendy or Mani, whoever you want up front, and that sort of pushes us up the pitch a bit more. I feel like since we've gone to this newer sort of way of playing, all right, it works, but it doesn't suit Murphy at all. He kind of looks lost. Yeah. Whereas against Oxford, he was absolutely outstanding, and he was one of the only bright sparks against Stoke.
So I've gone for I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Pompey win, and might as well just go for Lang because it's almost a banker at a minute.
Oh, you stole my goal scorer. The thing going with Lang is if you get a penalty, he's going to take it, isn't he? So
that's it.
Right. So I'm going for
prediction.
I'm going for a win. I'm going for a 1-0 win.
Do you know what? I typed that out because I thought you might say that.
They're a bit the team sort of struggling to score.
They're a really on and off team.
Yeah.
But
you don't know what you're going to get. Although, do I go 1-0 with Lowe playing? He's bound to score.
Well, you've got Lowe, Michael Smith, Deshaun Bernard.
Well, I'm changing it. I'm going 2-1 the same as you because there's too many ex-players that are going to score. 2-1, and if I can't go Lang, I will go... It's hard not knowing who's definitely going to play.
You can go for Lang if you want, but...
Can I go for the striker? Whoever is the striker.
No,
whether that's Yengi, wherever that's Omani.
Striker. No, you got to pick either Yengi or Omani.
Yeah, but if they don't play...
Well, that's tough shit, isn't it?
Yeah, but when I put my bet on, I'll put it after I've seen the team lineup. I don't put it on before.
Well, this is the fun and games of it.
Oh, fuck's
or just
sake.
stick with Lang.
And by the way, I want my 2 points for Paul. I said he would score, and he did.
An own goal doesn't count.
We never said that.
Who's your goal scorer then?
Sorry, I really needed a cough then. Oh, fuck's sake. Who's he going to start front? Yengi.
Omani is starting then.
Just because actually I think the only person who would take the penalties off Lang is Yengi.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because they haven't both played when we've got a penalty yet, have they?
No. Well, not this season anyway.
It'll be interesting to see who gets that.
Yeah.
Right. Can I quit? I'll do my who am I for you.
Well, I hope you made it hard this week.
I've tried my best. Right, you ready?
Yep.
I started my career at the same club that John Mousinho finished his career at.
See, at least you've made it where there's near enough impossible to guess after the first question.
I had to.
You're talking about there's about probably 500 choices here.
Well, is it?
Is there a Pompey player? I'm assuming, yeah.
Yes. Of course, it's an ex-Pompey player. Yeah.
So, and he started his career at Oxford.
Correct.
Okay, right. Hang on. Before you move on, let me just have a quick think. Nothing springs to mind. I'm going to have to concede.
Okay. I signed for Portsmouth for £100,000 from Hull City.
Oof. Hull? Have we brought many players from Hull?
I don't know. I don't think so. But he's one of them.
100k. So this is either going to be someone I've completely forgotten about recently, or this is an old player.
I'm not telling you anything.
Just trying to think. I can't think of anyone that we bought that's played for Hull. They started their career at Oxford. Any more questions have I got left? Just the one.
You've got one more clue. I've made it harder specifically.
Probably picked a player I've never heard of.
We've got a request from Kelvin. Do you reckon he might know?
Yeah, get him on.
Shall we add him in?
Yeah, get him on. Hello, Kelvin. The floor is yours. Nope.
I said, do you want me to tell you the answer?
Go on then.
If you've got it.
Well, I've got it straight away. I've been following Pompey for over 50 years.
I knew it was going to be an old player.
The answer is Mick Tate.
That is correct.
I never would have got that. The only way you would have got that is that your mum used to be his hairdresser. That would have been the only way I would have got that answer.
No, you got to go on Pompey Rama every day and keep looking at all the fixtures you've been to all throughout the years, and it just keeps refreshing your memory every 5 minutes.
Well, my dad's listening. I'm sure he was shouting out that answer.
Don't forget his 5-minute hat-trick against Exeter.
Well, I can't forget something I wasn't born to watch.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not. I wasn't sure what year you were born in. What year were you born in?
88. So.
80, yeah. Was in. Oh, well, we're just getting relegated out of the first division then.
Yeah. So my sort of first memories of Pompey were like Walsh and Whittingham partnership. That was
well, they were great memories.
Yeah. Whereas Harry here is a baby.
Oh,
yeah. I was born in 99. So.
Oh, yeah, 99. That's when Milan bought the club.
Yeah, my first game was at home, 3-1 win against Reading at home in 2006.
Right. Yeah. In the Premier League.
Yeah. So it's quite a short amount of time compared to you guys, I'm afraid. But I had to pick. He's got them both correct on the other two others. So I had to pick someone way more obscure that I thought he might not get, just to make it more interesting, because he kept getting it on the first clue. So I thought I'd bought.
Well, funnily enough, I had a picture of me with Mick Tate in the Guildhall in 1983 when we won the Third Division Championship. I was lucky enough to get invited that evening. And then a couple of months back, he came back, didn't he, with Ehrman for one of the games. Back end of last season. So I got another picture of me and him together. So it's brilliant to compare the two 40 years afterwards.
I was going to say, I'm sure you haven't aged too much between them.
Watching Pompey's aging me at the moment, I'll tell you.
I think we're all getting a bit greyer and older watching them at the moment.
But we keep coming back for more. We'll all be there tomorrow night.
Absolutely. We'll be behind them. Quick one for you, Kelvin, before we let you go. What do you think, I just want to say, what do you think the main issue is so far?
Blimey. Well, what's the main issue so far? Well, we've had way too many injuries for a start, which has held us back. But I think I'm like everyone else. I'm questioning the quality of the signings we've made. that's that's what's worrying me at the moment. You know, I said to my mate who I work with, he's a Middlesbrough fan. I said, why are you loaning us a player when you're in the same league as us? Because that is very unusual, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And he said,
it's normally the division down, isn't it?
Yeah, usually, yeah. And he said, he's not the best. And I thought, oh God. And then I started, and then we signed that Kamara, and it was like, he's only played for the third team, and Sorensen's from the Danish third division. And I was thinking, oh God, who are these players he signed? But at the time, I'm thinking, well, okay, Hughes has done all right, so far with everyone, but it's not looking too good, is it? Not looking too good. So it's got to keep the faith, I suppose, and keep believing. Very difficult.
That's all we can do, really, at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, say about the injuries, but Christ, we end up with third choice goalkeeper now. You don't usually, if you're unlucky, you might lose one goalkeeper a season, mightn't you? We've lost two now in the space of a couple of weeks.
Well, yeah. Well, you think, Norris played every game last season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually like Mousinho. I think he's good. I really do, and I'm just wondering if he's had his hands tied behind his back a little bit with what we've spent, But obviously he's not going to say nothing now because he's just been given a new contract. So whatever happens now, he's not going to criticise the amount of money that's been spent or the owners or whatever you want to talk about. He's just going to get on with his job. So
he can only do the best.
Yeah.
There was a tweet the other day of someone said about you can give a workman their tool bag, but if they've got like a rusty hammer, a broken spanner and stuff like that, they can only do so.
Yeah.
And you don't expect them to go out and spend millions and millions, but it would have been nice to have a bit more of a budget.
A bit more, yeah. I understand why they didn't pay $4.5 million if that's what it was for Kamara.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That would have been a bridge too far. But I'm still of the opinion that if we don't increase the capacity, we're not going to be able to progress. Although, having said that, how come Oxford are doing so well? Because they can't be having anywhere near the amount of people we got turning up every week, can they? I don't know what the capacity is at Oxford, but
got a couple of people stood in the car park watching instead.
Although there's a long way to go with Oxford.
Perhaps they got some money from all those pallets that Westwood was stood on that time and sold. I don't know. I believe that the owners are not going to spend any more than we generate. I think they will spend money on the ground and the training ground and stuff like that because that's their house. And as far as they're concerned, they'll get their money back on that. But I don't think they're going to chuck money at the playing side. They're only going to spend what we sort of bring in, through the gate and through whatever Sky gives us. And
well, that's what they said they were going to do when they brought the club, wasn't it? What we make is what they'll spend. They're not going to put stupid amount of money in, and they've said that all along, and they've been true to their word.
Yeah, the only other thing is I did see that quote today about what Eisner said at the Guildhall, saying if you want to just potter around in Division 3 and Division 4 and all that, you don't need me. But if you want to go up to higher leagues, you're going to need me. So it's slightly contradictory in that respect, isn't it? I understand what you say. He did say that. I'm not going to chuck loads and loads of money at it, but then he also said that as well. So I
think they're a bit naive, weren't they? I think they didn't understand the scope of they just thought, we just get a load of academy players in and sell them on and it'd be easy, and they didn't realise actually we're in a. People say, improve the academy. I don't think people actually understand how far behind we are.
Yeah, well, you've only got to look at Bournemouth for that, haven't you?
Yeah, you got Brighton, their academy. Yeah. You got Chelsea's academy's not far. You've got Southampton's academy. We are. I've always believed we should go the Brentford way and kind of go more like B team than academy team.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well, every time we try and find a space for one of these projects, it always gets, oh no, we ain't got no space here. We can't do that. You know, we had it before with the ground, didn't we? When it was on about Farlington or whatever. Every time something's always been offered out, it's no, we ain't got the space for that. We ain't, blah blah blah. Everyone else seems to get it. Like you said, all them clubs you've just mentioned around here, they've all got academies. Bournemouth, Brighton, that lot down the road. It's deeply frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the time where we should have stroked was probably under Mandrick.
Yeah,
and he was so concentrating on getting to the Premier League that everything else kind of didn't happen around it. Whereas maybe now, if he could do it again, he might have gone about it a different way and set us up a better academy, owned our own training ground, improved the stadium, and not worry so much and being desperate to get to the Premier League like he was.
Well, he did get the digger out that time, didn't he?
But
As far as it went.
Yeah, that's as far as that went. But he never looked to improve. He never looked to buy a training ground.
No.
I think there was talk of it under Gardamark, where there's rumours, I don't know how true they are, that we were offered Noé Pamero or a training ground, and Redknapp chose Noé Pamero. I don't know how true that is, but we were kind of forgotten, really, in that sense. It was more, as good as the times were, I wouldn't swap them for anything, even as bad as it got.
Oh no, you can't. You can't. You can't do that. You can't dwell on. You got to believe that
you got to live.
That's it. You've seen the great days. That's what you go for. You don't want to just be like. Well, it's one of the things you'd say about that lot down the road, isn't it? We've been in this league forever, but you don't actually win anything or do anything.
No, you don't. They don't even win anything when they're in the wrong league.
No,
I mean, they go up via playoff second. Yeah. They don't even win their leagues when they get promoted. It's like when my boy finally saw us last season get promoted and also win the title. To watch him experience that, and I said to him, milk it. Remember this day for as long as you can, because they don't come around often.
No, absolutely not. Well, you've only got to look at it. I've been following Pompey for over 50 years, and I've had 6 promotions and I've had 6 relegations.
Yeah,
in 50 years. There you go.
Yeah.
So 6 really good moments. Although I haven't said that, you got a couple of cup finals chucked in as well. But like you said, in the grand scheme of things,
Whereas the Southampton supporter for the last 50 years had only seen them one FA Cup and the what do you
paint
call
pot.
it? Paint
pot.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they would have seen their team win. Their greatest days are, we beat Man City 1-0 at St Mary's, whereas we can, name cup finals.
Yeah.
Better moments, the AC Milan atmosphere, which we'll never forget.
That's it. Well, this is where you got to live for these moments, isn't it? I mean, when we lost to Liverpool in '92 in the cup semi-final, that was like the most heartbroken I think I've ever felt watching Pompey. Because I thought, this is it now. I'm never ever going to get to Wembley, And then all of a sudden, now I've been like 6 or 7 times now.
Yeah. We sort of.
So it just goes to show you, doesn't it? I didn't think I was ever going to get there. Now I've been like all them times. And we've had one more of that. They've had the COVID year with the Checkatrade final.
Oh yeah,
another one to add to the list. I've still got my ticket for that upstairs.
I've probably got mine somewhere and all, to be honest.
I've kept it. Well, keeps all that kind of rubbish, everything. Having said that, you're the man. Just a quick one before I let you cackle on.
Yeah, of course.
You would have forgotten Pompey goals, man, ain't you?
I am indeed. Yep.
Yeah, I've actually got an absolute ton of videos that I used to have all the goals on.
Yep.
So I don't know if you do anything with them, do you, or anything?
I ain't got the technology to put them onto like a disc or onto a computer anymore.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, though, as I know that, if anything comes up, I'll give you a DM, mate.
Yeah,
so
I used to very much. Back in the day when it used to be like South Today or whatever it was, or Meridian or whatever it was on the Monday, they used to show the goals from the games, and I used to recall all them.
Yeah,
it was great. That, or if ever there was a game that was on, whatever it was at the time. you know,
Yeah.
like a big match or whatever, I used to record that and have 5 or 10 minutes of the game. I've got loads of them, but of course they're all on blooming cassette. You know.
Yeah, that's the trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. If I ever can get that sorted, mate, I'll give you a DM. Thank you very much.
All right, lovely. Keep up the good work. Yeah.
Lovely. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Wow, love that. Bit of impromptu, getting the crowd involved.
Yeah, why not? Maybe we should do that more often.
I think we should.
Right. I think unless there's anything desperately you want to talk about, I think that's a good way to end it.
Yeah, just very quickly, I got an email. I think everyone did, just about the Oxford, about the racism.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. I did get that. Yeah.
And it was just basically saying that it's still under the police investigation, and that the people that are under investigation have been suspended from attending matches while the police are doing their inquiries, which is good to see that they're doing, being proactive about it, basically.
Brilliant. So they should be.
They're doing the right thing, and as we said in the last one, it was completely disgraceful that they said what they said. But the other thing was that Luton tweeted the fact that their striker Elijah Adebayo got some racial abuse. I think did they play yesterday or the day before? And they basically tweeted out, this is what they said. They said, if you have the balls to come to Kenilworth Road and say it to his face, we dare you. If you do, you'll be faced with everyone at Luton Town standing side by side. And I thought, fair play.
Yeah, no.
Like, calling out. People, as we said in the other one, people just say it when they think that because they're in a football crowd that no one notices, but they wouldn't, you wouldn't say it to his face, would you?
No, definitely not. But
right.
Yeah. I'm going to end it there. It's been going on an hour and 35
hour
minutes.
and a half.
Right, well, hopefully Pompey can have a win. We'll be back next week. We'll do my quiz next week on Daz's as he's part-timer. And hopefully the boys do a job tomorrow night and don't let us down. See you next week then, Harry.
Yes, mate. Before I go, just want to give a big shout out. He won't listen, but a shout out to my stepson. He's just gone to rally for his 10 weeks naval training. So best of luck, Jack.
Good luck to... What's his name? Jack, did you say?
Jack, yeah.
Good luck, Jack.
We'll see you at Christmas. He pops back at Christmas for a week and then goes back again. So quiet house without him, but he'll smash it. We got him.
Yeah, good luck, Jack. Hope it all goes well, mate.
Nice one, Russ. We'll see you next week.
See you later, mate.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for coming in, and for you, Kelvin, as well. Cheers.
Big
Bye.
up, Kelvin.
Bye.
Bye.